Right now at 10, officials with the Ed Emory campaign release an update following the congressional candidate's death Friday evening. Plus,
a Miami business is honoring essential workers. I'm Bronte Sorati with how they're using their sweet treats to do that.
Also, the Garth Brooks concert took place in Kansas City despite health concerns, and 2 Chicago police officers are ambushed during a weekend of violence in the city.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
It's quiet right now, but some of us could be in for a stormy evening across the 4 states. But that's why we have meteorologist Nick Kelly to break it all down for us. Good evening, Nick.
It was certainly an interesting day, Chris. We had rain and thunderstorms this morning. Rain, in fact, that clipped the city of Joplin and gave us 0.2 of an inch of rain. But despite all of that, we stayed dry for the afternoon and much of this evening, so that's why we had no problem going from 69 this morning to a high of 90 degrees. The Skywatch Solar Tracker, this has been surprisingly dry throughout the evening, but now with more moisture coming in just upstairs, we are seeing some more showers and a couple of little thunderstorms around Table Rock Lake starting to develop. Not to mention another potential area storms that are still trying to get going out in southeastern parts of Kansas. That's what we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the overnight, as our main upper low still close by and still spinning just to the north across the upper Midwest. But temperatures, most of us are in the low to mid 80s. Feels like near 90 still, with that humidity still quite high. But breaking down the day tomorrow, hopefully if I didn't lock up the machine here, Chris, there we go. We are going to keep an eye on those isolated scattered storms overnight. Some of them could be strong, but they will only drop us off to 74. Then it's all about the heat and humidity tomorrow with highs back near 94. We'll touch base on the storms for tonight and how long this is going to stick around here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. An update to a story we brought you last night. Officials with the Ed Emory for Congress campaign released a statement today on Emory's death. Emory passed away around 9 p.m. Friday night at University Hospital in Columbia following a heart episode. The campaign announced in the statement that visitation will be held Tuesday, August the 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Daniel Funeral Home in Lamar. Funeral will be held at 10 a.m. on Wednesday at the First Baptist Church in Lamar. Cards and condolences can be sent to 1189 East Highway C in Lamar. A same-sex couple in Oklahoma is trying to use the Paycheck Protection Program to sue a Christian school that kicked out their daughter. Summit Christian Academy near Tulsa says the 5-year-old girl can't start kindergarten there because her mom is married to another woman. Normally, a private religious institution doesn't have to comply with anti-discrimination laws, but attorneys for Sarah Evans and Brittany Hudson argue the school has to accept those laws because it accepted federal funding. The academy superintendent says school policy prevents him from commenting on what happened. Tens of thousands of people showed up to the Garth Brooks concert at Arrowhead on Saturday night despite health concerns. Matt Flinner has the story.
A crowd no one would have questioned 2 years ago showed up to Arrowhead Saturday night. After talk for weeks of the Delta variant and a surging COVID case rate, people still came. Some masks in hand or on their face.
It's better to be safe than sorry and not spread it to anybody else. Yeah. That's it.
3, 2, 1.
Adam Johnson of Osage City, Kansas got vaccinated.
Yay! Yay! I figure I'd get it now and not worry about it later.
His wife talking about what the Garth Brooks concert represents.
We can actually get out and celebrate and just live life again.
Do you feel confident in doing that because you're vaccinated?
I do. I do.
Others recognizing who's playing.
I took a risk because I love Garth.
Recognizing the big night at Arrowhead.
Well, Miami Business is getting into the spirit of loving local and honoring local healthcare and education workers in the community. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us how One Shaved Ice Shop's new deal aims to give these workers their recognition.
With coronavirus cases reaching high numbers once again in the 4 states, many area essential workers are feeling the strain, which is why One Miami Business went out of its way to help them feel appreciated.
It's where they get free shaved ice for all healthcare workers and teachers in the educational field.
The Frozen Elephant in Miami implemented this new deal on Sunday, and it's already made an impact on area essential workers.
It kind of brightens the day, makes the day.
One Miami Schools employee who came to get her shaved ice says she was pleasantly surprised she didn't need to pay, and that it was because of her services to the community.
It's just, it's nice. The recognition's nice, and just being recognized for helping the students. And
She adds that working in food services, she doesn't always get as much acknowledgement.
it's nice. I mean, it doesn't happen a whole lot, especially like with in the kitchen, the cooks, but it's nice to be included in with the teacher, with the staff. And
Staff at the Frozen Elephant just want essential workers to know that their hard work does not go unnoticed.
A little goes a long way, you know. If it can be something that just slightly brightens their day, like, oh, nice, it's hot out, they get a little bit of a relaxing treat.
The business says they just want school and medical staff to know that they are appreciated in the community.
It's just a small way that we can show our appreciation to the medical field and the teachers. It's just something small that lets them know that we appreciate them and all that they do.
In Miami, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Frozen Elephant says they plan to keep this deal for essential workers going until they close at the end of August. Well, it's been a deadly weekend in Chicago where at least 63 people have been shot, including 2 police officers who were ambushed during a traffic stop. One died, the other is in critical condition. Elise Preston has the latest from New York.
Dozens of police officers gathered outside a hospital on Chicago's South Side after a night of violence that claimed one of their own.
One of our officers was struck by one of the offenders' bullets and sustained a fatal gunshot wound.
The 29-year-old female police officer, a 3-year veteran of the force, was killed during a routine traffic stop Saturday night. Her partner was seriously injured after exchanging fire with at least one suspect.
He is currently still in critical condition, fighting for his life. He had 6 years on the department.
Officers struck one of the suspects and captured 3 others.
Tragedy has struck again.
The incident marks another deadly weekend of gun violence across Chicago. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot declared Sunday an official day of mourning.
The police are not our enemies. They are human, just as we are. Flawed, just as we are. But also risking their lives every day for our safety and security.
So far this year, at least 11 Chicago police officers have been hit by gunfire. The officer involved in the weekend incident is the first to die this year. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Now, Chicago Mayor Lightfoot went on to say that gangs and guns are the common enemy, not police. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Fire Control Technician First Class Ivan Powell served in the Navy from 1951 to 55 aboard the USS Rogers and the USS Orlik in Korea, his hometown, Iola. We're proud to recognize Fire Control Tech First Class Ivan Powell, tonight's 4-state hero. And remember, learn more about our other heroes or nominate one of your own. Just head over to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Still ahead on the KOAM News at 10, a warning from health officials regarding the coronavirus and what could come.
September 11th.
The hope for a so-called return to normalcy from COVID-19 appears to be fading fast. The Delta variant is surging across the country, mainly in the unvaccinated population. John Lawrence reports.
Hospitals are filling up as the U.S. experiences another surge of COVID-19, especially in the South where vaccination rates are low.
The virus has changed. We went from a virus that was formidable but didn't transmit nearly as well as the virus we're dealing with today, and that's the Delta variant.
The U.S. daily average for new COVID-19 cases is above 100,000, according to Johns Hopkins University. That's a high not seen since February.
We would not be in the place we are right now with this Delta surge if we'd been more effective in getting everybody to take advantage of these immunizations. And now we're paying a terrible price as the cases go up quickly.
Roughly half of the U.S. has yet to get vaccinated. Health officials say this could give rise to new variants.
Sooner or later, you may get a constellation of mutations that would lead to a variant that might evade the vaccine much more than the current Delta is evading.
The virus has claimed more than 616,000 lives since January of last year.
In the last 10 days, we have had 6 members of our church who have passed away from COVID. 4 of them were under the age of 35. All of them were healthy, and the only thing they had in common is each of them were not vaccinated.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Dr. Fauci says he hopes a COVID-19 vaccine will get full FDA approval within a few weeks during an appearance on NBC's Meet the Press. He says that could encourage businesses and local institutions to enforce vaccine mandates. The 2021 New Orleans Jazz Fest is put on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This event, which usually takes place over 2 weekends in late April and early May, was moved to October earlier this year. Officials say the rise in COVID-19 cases in the area forced them to cancel the postponed fest. Acts that were scheduled to perform at the 2021 Jazz Fest included the Rolling Stones, Lizzo, Foo Fighters, and Dead & Company. According to a post on the festival's website, the 2022 edition of the event will be held in the spring. The 2020 Jazz Fest was also canceled because of the virus. Later on the KOAM News at 10, we're going to take a look back at the top 5 movies at the box office this weekend.
But first, I'll track the chance for some thunderstorms overnight and definite heat and humidity for much of this week when we come back. We had to start with some actually widely scattered rain and storms this morning, but surprisingly and thankfully, if you wanted a nice afternoon to wrap up this weekend, we kept things dry throughout the day. But the start of the time-lapse from indigo sky outside of Seneca, Missouri showed the clouds as that band of rain and storms held together and passed on through this morning. Then we just stayed dry throughout the afternoon and much of this evening so far. It was amazing how that line of thunderstorms that plowed on through this morning, it was more impressive when they originated out to the west yesterday evening. They were packing winds 50 to 70 miles per hour, especially up in north central, northeastern parts of Kansas. No severe weather for us, though, as it rolled on through this morning. So on the average, we got about 3/10 of an inch of rain, but areas on the Kansas side north of 400, that's a good corridor of anywhere between half an inch to almost 2 inches of rain, at least according to radar estimates. And we've just been waiting all day long to see if we got any scattered thunderstorms to develop. But now we're starting to see our radar light up a little bit more since we're starting to see more moisture, more upper level energy come in upstairs, resulting in a few thunderstorms around Table Rock Lake. And we're still waiting for additional storms to start developing out in southeastern Kansas. With that said, though, it's not going to scrub out the heat and humidity for tomorrow. As we go back into the mid-90s, low to mid-90s, and the high humidity, that's why we have heat advisories out for everybody until at least 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And I would expect these to extend all the way through much of this week. At least we're looking okay now. 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, we're at 83. Dew point is 73. Unfortunately, that makes it feel like 89 degrees outside. A couple upper 70s on the board, sure, but most of us are between 80 and 84 degrees. And some of us still feels like it's the upper 80s to near 90, thanks to the soupy dew points well into the 70s. Again, we're still waiting to see more scattered storms develop on top of the region as we go through the overnight. But thankfully, any chance that we have for severe weather is on the downswing. As we break down the setup here, at the surface, all we really had today was this weak wind shift line working across central Kansas. It wasn't quite close enough to get anything going this afternoon, but we are seeing a little bit more energy just above the surface working together with this upper low that's still close by. So that is why I have to keep at least some scattered thunderstorm chances in the forecast. And you can see how the future track wants to pop some of these up. So we still have the chance, but if these still can develop, they'll be out of here before the morning drive. But before they fizzle out, they could certainly be capable of mainly small hail and some gusty winds between 40 and maybe 50 miles per hour. But we start in the mid-70s in the morning. Even though we look nice throughout much of the day, partly to mostly sunny, I think any storms stay to the east during the day, but you can see with the temperatures, it's going to be hot and humid. 74 in the morning, 88 by noon, highs near 94. But again, that's just the air temperatures. You factor the dew points, which will certainly be back in the 70s tomorrow. It's going to feel like 102 to almost 110. And we'll have to repeat these numbers again for Tuesday, since we'll still be on the hotter side of the jet as it's parked just to the north. I think we're dry Wednesday through Thursday, but as we see a more northwesterly flow in the jet aloft come our way by next weekend, this could try to bring a cold front in and maybe some isolated thunderstorms to go along with it. Until that can happen, though, we've got alert days out tomorrow through Thursday because of the heat and humidity staying quite high. 94 tomorrow, mid-90s pretty much through Thursday. And don't forget about the morning lows, wet and muggy in the upper 70s. Hopefully, though, Chris, we can get highs at least back into the upper 80s by Saturday and Sunday.
Just looking at those temperatures makes it feel hot already. And I mean, it still feels like it's almost
I know.
90
It's like
degrees.
at times I want to do what you just said. I've got plenty of paper to fan myself down.
You're
It's so
gonna
humid.
need something to keep you cool, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Nick, thank you so much. Danny joining us now with sports, something everybody's excited about across the board. Missouri Southern football is back.
Fall practices have begun. We'll hear from head coach Atiba Bradley coming up. Plus, a Hall of Fame wrestler shares his expertise with local athletes. The story next. This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. SEK Elite hosts a back-to-school wrestling clinic today. Around 60 kids from 1st to 12th grade were in attendance, learning from one of the best in the sport.
Decorated wrestler Kenny Monday leads a clinic on Sunday at Pittsburgh High School.
Nice, circle, circle. Whoa, that's a point.
When I heard Coach Monday was coming here, I've followed him. I watch a lot of highlights of past Olympics and stuff, and I've heard about his career and all his accomplishments, and I thought it'd be a good idea to come out here and learn from the best.
Keep the shoulder in the chest. I love to get back and kind of reinvest in the kids, you know, and just give my time and my expertise in the sport of wrestling.
Monday is a world champion. He is also a 3-time Olympian, winning gold in the 1988 Games in Korea.
I think I'm going to learn technique that an Olympic champion has used, and I can add it to my repertoire and hopefully use it in matches for my high school career.
Being an Olympic gold medalist, it kind of gives me a platform to kind of get out and see a lot of the kids and just kind of sell the dream. You know, sell the dream. I had a dream when I was a kid, 10 years old, to be an Olympic champion. And so that dream came in reality. Run those feet! Run those feet!
Monday hopes to teach young wrestlers new skills on the mat and in life.
He has a great mentality. He started us off by telling us that our mentality is the best thing like a wrestler can have.
You know, wrestling is such a great sport, right? You know, the characteristics that you learn from wrestling, the discipline, you know, the hard work, you know, the teamwork, it really goes a long way, right? And so it's really just good for kids.
Monday has been coaching since he retired from wrestling in 1996. He travels all over the world speaking and offering camps. The Missouri Southern Lions have taken the next step in preparing for the fall season. They are finally back on the field for fall practices. It's a young team this year with over 70 newcomers. They also have a new coach in Atiba Bradley. He was hired in February. The Lions season opener is quickly approaching, and the entire team is eager to kick it off.
It feels like this day has been coming forever. You know, I blink and it doesn't seem real that it was only 6 months ago that I was hired. It almost feels like a decade, but we're excited. The kids are excited. They have a lot of energy. They're flying around and they're just ready to get better. There's so much you can do in the summer. There's so much you can do in the spring, but it's go time now. So we're ready to get started.
That brings us to our one and only break in the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. Still ahead, highlights from the Royals and Cardinals series finale.
Ron Super.
Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Cardinals and Royals finish out a series tonight. The Cards won the first two, so they'll go for the sweep tonight. They take an early lead. Dylan Carlson goes deep to make it 1-0. Same score in the fourth, bases loaded for the Royals. Michael A. Taylor singles to tie the game. Royals widen the lead from there. Taylor again gets a base hit out to left. The throw home, though, is no good. Hunter Dozier scores to make it 4-1. Momentum flips now. Cards find their rhythm. Paul Goldschmidt gets a hit to right to score 1. And then Nolan Arenado's hit scores another. So we're back to a tie. A rain delay halts play. And once it resumes, Nicky Lopez finishes the job. The Royals avoid the sweep, winning 6-5. It was a rainy day in St. Joe as well. The Chiefs had to bring training camp inside, but it certainly wasn't a wasted day. Today's practice focused on going through the playbook and working through certain game-like situations. Rookie linebacker Nick Bolton feels like he is acclimating well.
Yeah, it's starting to come along a little bit. I feel more comfortable in the playbook. Like I said, Hitch, Ben, all those older guys, Willie, all helping me learn the playbook, and so that kind of instills confidence when you know what you're doing. You can kind of go out there and execute the game plan with a clear mind, and so it's kind of like speed of the game. That's why instincts are trying to show up a little bit more when I get a little bit more comfortable with the playbook.
We're back right after this.
55 years and
program. Learn more at neoshow.edu.
So, who saw a movie this weekend? Danny? TJ? Nick? Nobody? Nobody saw a movie this weekend. Well, that's all right. If you did, and if you're like everybody here and you didn't, we're going to check out the box office. David Daniel has the early estimates for this weekend's top 5 movies.
I never had a chance to mourn her.
Stillwater stayed in 5th place, taking in $2.9 million. Black Widow made $4 million for 4th place and a domestic total of $174 million. Old brought in $4.1 million to remain in 3rd place.
Come on, lady.
Jungle Cruise lost the top spot, but $15.7 million in ticket sales gave it a solid 2nd place.
You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
It's coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head.
The Suicide Squad debuted on top with $26.6 million, less than expected for the comic book movie with a reported $185 million budget. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
So since nobody here has seen a movie, you now have a good list of movies to go choose from.
Yeah, Danny and I can agree on one at least, Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
That looks really cool.
That's on my list for sure.
So now everybody at home, everybody here, get to the movies. You got something to go see, something to go eat popcorn with. It's going to be a good time to be indoors.
That's like, is that our assignment for the week?
It is.
Okay.
By next weekend, I want to report on the movie you guys watch.
Yeah, my other assignment will be to keep an eye on the heat because it's not going anywhere, certainly for the next 4 days. Mid-90s for highs and high humidity. That means heat advisories and feeling like 102, 110. That's why those alert days are out Monday through Thursday.
That is the last final forecast you get, Nick, until you have better news for
At least
us.
for tonight.
Danny, real quick check of sports.
Well, the rain messed up the sports a little bit. There was a rain delay for the Royals-Cardinals game. Royals won that one, and they'll play again next weekend.
All right, hopefully keep the momentum going. Guys, thank you. That's our time for now. Thanks for making us part of your night.